Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the October 8th regular Board of Education meeting. I'd like to, turn it over to Cassidy for our student report.
Good evening, Eastchester community. Last month's homecoming weekend was a huge success, with exciting wins from our football team and soccer teams. We had a great turnout from both our student section and the Eastchester community. Thank you to everyone who attended. Also, the next few weeks will be crucial for our sports team as the fall season wraps up. We're hopeful to see many of them advance to sectionals. This week, we also encourage everyone to wear pink to our sports games in support of Samantha Kearns, who is beloved by everyone here at Eastchester. Not only was she an amazing teacher to us fellow students, but she was also a remarkable person. She was a mother, wife, friend, mentor, and coach. I strongly encourage everyone to attend this week's games to help us celebrate her life, along with support the mission of the American Cancer Society. On October 10th, we have our fall blood drive. If you are 16 or older, I strongly encourage you to donate. This is a great way to save so many lives as well as giving back to the community. If you'd like to be a part of this blood drive, please join us from 2:30 to 6:30 in the high school cafeteria. The EHS Players Club has released their fall comedy, One Man, Two Governors. Please support our Players Club on Friday, November 15th, Saturday, November 16th at 7 p.m., and then Sunday, November 17th at 2 p.m. I strongly encourage everyone to attend, as the Players Club always delivers a great show. The Eastchester students, including myself, had the pleasure to attend the 9/11 Never Forget mobile exhibit. This was a great opportunity to learn more about 9/11, as well as reflecting on the lives that were lost that day. For my fellow Eastchester students, please reach out to your guidance counselor, as there are so many volunteering opportunities in our community. This is a great way to meet new people, along with giving back to our community. For my fellow seniors, please check your Google Classrooms, as there is college essay workshops. With approaching deadlines, it is very important to have your essays reviewed by our staff here at Eastchester before pressing submit. And then lastly, some important dates. Wednesday, October 9th, we have our financial aid meeting here at 7 p.m. And Monday, October 21st, we have a college fair here right at Eastchester. I strongly encourage students and parents to attend. Good night, and thank you for supporting all of us Eagles.
Thank you, Cassidy. And just to reiterate what Cassidy mentioned about homecoming, I know myself and my family, we enjoy the homecoming festivities. And homecoming, it really is a time of celebration and connection of our community and the pride that we share. I would just ask the community to not let that feeling of homecoming just lapse for being that 1 week, that we should just take that essence of homecoming and bring it in for the next school, for the rest of the school year, because our motto is "We are Eastchester." It's not just a three-word phrase. It really does embody our community. So I thought homecoming was fantastic, and hopefully we can keep the momentum and the spirit of homecoming alive. And I think it's wonderful what the school is doing with the Remember Samantha Kearns. So hopefully everyone can just take that feeling and that spirit of homecoming and just keep it with them for the rest of the year. And also, we are continuing the coughing conversation that Chrissy was so wonderful to commence during her presidency. So please stay tuned for future dates. And now, are there any committee reports?
I would just say very briefly, this evening, Dr. Valenti at 5:30 conducted a meeting with some parents in regards to great books, which we're going to hear more about this evening, and gifted and talented and enrichment programming. And it was a very robust conversation. And I think there were some really good points that came out of that that will definitely lead to further discussion. So definitely work to be done, but we are clearly trending in the right direction. Additionally, at one of our last meetings, we heard from our search firm, and they are well underway conducting their forums, starting to speak to some staff and community members as we continue down the endeavor of finding our next superintendent. So they will be back sometime towards the end of the year to give another update on how the forums are going and the surveys. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, well, Dr. Valenti, you're up. Oh my God.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, members of the administrative team, and the Eastchester community. Our superintendent's report for this evening will include the following items. We'd like to recognize a National Merit Scholar semifinalist from the high school. We'd like to recognize our Board of Education since this is Board Recognition Week. I'd like to give you an athletic update with our athletic director, Tom Puccini. Talk just a little bit about the Junior Great Books program before we get to November when we'll have a full-blown presentation. And then with Dr. Meyer, talk about the college process updates. So let's move right to the first item. Unfortunately, Ava could not be here tonight, but that should not deter us from honoring her. She is a National Merit Scholar. She is one of the semifinalists chosen based on her PSAT results. For the sake of the community, that is SAT Verbal and Math. And only 16,000 students throughout the entire nation, fewer than 1%. So that puts Ava at the 99th plus percentile, to give you an idea of where she is on the spectrum. And so she earned semifinalist distinction. So even though she couldn't be here, let's give her a big round of applause for her contribution. Ava, hope you're listening and hope you tune in and heard that applause. Okay. Now, everyone knows, the members of the board, I've said this before, basically, serving on a Board of Education in the state of New York is probably one of the most important activities that a volunteer could do. Board members have enormous authority under the law, deliberative authority in order to direct the education and the vision of a school district and provide for all the children within the district. And unless we had, in our case here in Eastchester, 9 dedicated members who are willing to volunteer their time, we would have a serious problem in terms of community representation and fulfilling the law, which requires that there be a Board of Education in each district. So without any further ado, on behalf of the community, we want to thank the board for your service, and we'd like to express that gratitude on behalf of the community. Together with our district clerk, Lori Parada, we'd like to present each of you with a certificate and then have Michael take a group photo of the board. Okay? Lori, would you want to join me? Yeah. Let's begin with our president, Christine Civitano Labardi. Let's give her a round of applause. Christine?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And if you just want to wait up here, we're going to all form. Our vice president, Lori Giacobbe. Lori. Congratulations, Lori. Please rise up here. If you were wondering what it says, New York State School Boards Association, School Board Recognition Week, October 14th to 18th, so we're pretty close. And then we honor a particular board member for dedicated leadership in public education and continuing service to the children of this community. Eastchester School District, and then it gives the date tonight and the superintendent's name. So our Secretary, Matthew Finelli. Matt. Now, members of the board, in order of seniority, I guess. No, in order of alphabet. Christina Geegan, Chrissy Geegan. Chrissy? Congratulations. Sean Felon. Sean? Robert Krukowski. Robert? Congratulations, Robert. Jill Cosentino. Jill, congratulations. Christy McCluskey. Christy?
Thank you very much.
Dr. Jackie DeMarco. Jackie? Congratulations. Okay. So would the board want to come up front here and let Michael do a Kodak moment? Okay. Michael, do you want him right along here? Yeah, and I guess the president in the middle here. Lori, Vice President. Okay. Kodak moment.
Mike, what do you think?
Yeah.
Head down.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Another round of applause. Okay, the next item on our agenda is an update on our athletics. And I'd like to take this opportunity to bring to the microphone our interim athletic director, Tom Puccini. So let's welcome Tom. Tom, you take it from here and start talking to us, okay?
Thank you very much.
Good. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the Board of Education, Dr. Valenti, the administrative team, the Eastchester community. We'll start with the Simply the Best Pink Games and celebration of Samantha Kearns. We like to say in celebration, not in remembrance, because we are truly celebrating the life of an incredible individual. So I'll read just a short excerpt from our American Cancer Society link that I'll speak about. We are celebrating the life of Samantha Kearns, a wife, mother, friend, mentor, coach, and teacher to so many, with a week of pink sports. I'm wearing my pink gear that I just got today with the SK emblem on the side, so you'll see Eastchester people sporting that. Coach Kearns was simply the best, as she was always willing to help any student, athlete, coworker, coach, or friend without being asked. She demonstrated that effort, persistence, laughter, and kindness made a difference. Her smile and positivity were contagious and energized athletes, impacted students, and inspired family, friends, colleagues on a daily basis. Please help us celebrate her life as we help support the mission of the American Cancer Society in her memory with a week of pink games. We have posted the link on our social medias, and there is a schedule of pink games throughout the week for Eastchester schools, as well as Tuckahoe, Dobbs Ferry, and some other supporting programs as well. So I'd like to thank everyone for supporting. And as of just a few moments ago, we're up to $4,100 out of our $10,000 goal. So we are doing very well. And they had their cheer competition just this afternoon. Incredible athletes' performances from everyone, and it was very nice to see. So that is our Simply the Best Week celebration of Samantha Kearns. Next up, we have, shocking to say this already, but winter sports are coming up. I feel like we just started fall sports. Just some dates to make you guys aware. High school registration, that is varsity and JV winter sports, will open on October 11th. I believe that is Friday. And they will close on November 11th, with the season starting on November 18th. That gives our nurses a week to review all the clearances and make sure everyone can get their paperwork in. Modified winter sports registration will open on October 18th, close on November 18th, and begin on November 25th. And when I say begin, that is when the tryouts would begin. And throughout these communications, please remember to join our SportsU platform. That is how we do team-specific communications. The codes, you can email me if you're not part of it, but there is a section on the website for our SportsU codes. You email me, and then I will give them to you guys. So we are very excited for our winter season coming up, but again, we're not diminishing our fall season. We are wishing our teams luck in hopefully postseason performances, but we will see in the next coming weeks how that goes. And lastly on the agenda from me is our Respect the Game, a Section 1 sportsmanship public service announcement. It is on behalf of the Sportsmanship Committee and the Executive Committee of Section 1. We have a video here. It's just a short 2-minute video that we will watch. Thank you.
Poor sportsmanship can be very discouraging for the players.
It could put people in a bad mindset.
It really negatively affects the players. The players are there for a fun time.
I feel as if it's taking the fun out of the sport, and the ref has the jobs to do. And some people think that the ref's job is easy, but it really isn't.
When you're on the field, it's hard to block out everyone that's around you, whether it's the players on the other side or it's like the parents and the other fans.
It makes me lose focus and it ruins the game. The game is all about having fun and performing your best.
A welcoming and affirming environment to me is a community where people bring each other up. So as players and as a team, it's really important for us to be constantly uplifting each other and for there to be absolutely no negative talk.
There's going to be missed calls, there's going to be a lot of missed stuff that goes on in the game, but people are human, they make mistakes, and we just got to work with them. I'm going to make mistakes while I'm on the court, so we just got to welcome everybody in and just be positive.
Section 1 Athletics and its member schools are expected to provide a welcoming and affirming environment for student athletes, coaches, staff, and spectators.
All of us have a role in accomplishing this. Our players, coaches, officials, fans, and our parents all contribute to the value our communities receive from interscholastic.
The role of our student athletes in supporting the educational framework of interscholastic athletics is to address the behavior within your team and district and to alert your captain, coach, and official.
Spectators, fans, and parents are an essential part of the high school sports experience. Attendees at Section 1 athletic events may not single out any athlete or official during a contest. This includes derogatory comments, including the use of players' name or uniform number.
Spectator remarks that are deemed inappropriate are to be addressed by school officials immediately.
The role of our spectators in supporting the educational framework of interscholastic athletics is to address the behavior and alert the event staff and school personnel.
We love the energy and excitement that you bring to our games.
We know how important it is for everyone to respect each other, players, coaches, officials, and yes, even our opponents.
Let's make sure we're setting a positive example for the younger kids watching us.
Booing and negative comments can really hurt our focus and spirit of the game.
Respect the game.
Respect the game.
Respect the game, respect each other, and show good sportsmanship.
Echoing the video, respecting the game, there's an emphasis on spectators. We're trying to encourage all of our spectators at all of our athletic events to respect the game, respect the coaches, respect the officials. You know, we can control what happens on the field and in the court with our athletes and our coaches, but what's in the stands is what we're really trying to focus on now. So I encourage everybody that attends games, events at Eastchester and all around the section, please be respectful. The students are out there trying their best. The coaches are out there trying their best. We're all human. We make mistakes. Just be respectful. Thank you. Sure.
So will this be aired during the various parent sports meetings?
It will be. This video just came out last week, so we missed
Okay.
our fall meeting, but we will use it in our winter and our spring meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, next on our agenda is really an announcement to the broader community that our Junior Great Books program is starting imminently, and we wanted to bring you up to date as to where we're at. We had some initial training of teachers and administrators, which took place on Monday, September 30th. 10 teachers and 5 administrators, one of whom is here right now, Dr. Chester. We wanted to alert the board and the community that the start date with students at Ann Hutch will be October the 8th, so that is today, the first day of the Junior Great Books program, and the anticipated start date with students is the week of October 21st at Waverly. So it will be a pilot program, K1 to 5 at both the Waverly and Ann Hutch schools. Piloted during the WIN period. At Ann Hutch, the literacy coach and librarian will push in to support shared inquiry in classrooms. And at Waverly, our MTSS shared inquiry teacher will pull out small groups, 5 to 6 students in a small group, to facilitate the same activity, which is an educational methodology of shared inquiry. Administrators look forward to providing a detailed update in November. We'll have Caitlin and Laura here, and some of their staff, hopefully, and some video of students. So we'll give you a fuller report at that time. But at least to let you know that this is beginning. So if any members of the community bring up and say, oh, gee, what's that new program at Waverly and Ann Hutch? We've all heard that there is a new program. It is a pilot. We're evaluating this pilot in conjunction with the WIN period at Greenvale. So what is shared inquiry, since we've used that term a few times? It's students reading or listening to texts twice with a different focus each time. The intent is that the text piques one's curiosity, supports extended discussion, and invites multiple interpretations. So it engages students not just in reading, but in conversation, thinking, obviously, exchange of views, and a broad area of literacy that goes well beyond reading the text. Students also respond to a focus question. They provide evidence for their thinking, which is extremely important as a learning. As you know, providing evidence for what you're saying is the difference between fact-based and simply making assertions. An assertion is not necessarily backed up with facts or evidence. Evidence-based is the classic goal for what we should be teaching our students. Students respond again after discussion. They indicate how their thinking has grown or changed. So we encourage students not only to give us their opinion, but to think through alternatives. What are different ways this particular story could have ended? Or if you were writing this story, how would you have ended it in contradistinction to what the author chose? And discussions then are based on the text and they're student-led. So the whole focus of shared inquiry is to get students thinking critically, and that's through a process of reading, writing, speaking, and listening, which are your essential skills. And I want to thank Susan for putting together these slides from Great Books, but it does help build skilled readers, as you can see, through all of the activities listed there: oral reading aloud, sharing questions, reading a paragraph a second time, annotating that with notes, discussion, writing, a full range of activities in terms of what every student should be learning in terms of organizing knowledge in a comprehensive way. And then, of course, decoding, phonological awareness, and sight recognition are all part of the science of reading. And as you can see there, we want to increase strategically and increase automaticity at the same time. So we're focusing on language comprehension in the shared inquiry approach and on word recognition. Junior grade books supplements the work that our teachers are doing in various strands. So I'm going to stop on that note. As I said, we will have a full-blown account at the November meeting with our principals and some staff. But if the board had any questions for Dr. Chester or I, since we're here, feel free to bring them up or ask them.
So, Dr. Chester, Dr. Valenti, just a quick question. So at Waverly, when the kids are just coming into kindergarten, they're learning the alphabet and learning letters and letter sounds, et cetera, and their skills are all over the place, how would great books be implemented for children that have yet to learn to read?
Susan, you want to come up here so the public hears you?
Come on, Dr. Chester. Come on up to the microphone. Come on down.
So, that's why when we were putting this information together, the shared inquiry generally has 2 reads. But if you're in kindergarten and you're not already reading, it's going to be 2 listens. And the teacher, as they're reading it aloud, is going to say, when I'm reading it aloud this time, I want you to focus on anything that you notice that's interesting. And then the second time, it may be, I want you to focus on, something that changes throughout the story. So they'll give them 2 areas of focus. And then, I was actually talking with Laura about this today, that in the earlier grades and in the beginning of the year, there might be responding more by creating something in a drawing versus creating something where they're actually writing a response. So there is definitely that difference
So there's
at
age
K1.
appropriateness.
100%.
And then
100%.
the other question I have, Dr. Chester, is in terms of the books that are being selected.
Yep.
What's the process of the books? Will parents be notified of the books that are going to be part of this program prior?
Yeah, so the books, there is an anthology that is part of the program.
Okay.
And typically it's not, full length, novels. It might be a short story, it could be a folk tale. So it would be, a shorter piece of text that is, you're capable of reading it multiple times in, a short number of days. And then there is a student response book that each student would receive.
And the reason why I asked about the parents is coming out of the meeting that we were in at 5:30. I think getting as much information out to parents about this pilot and the program in terms of the books and some of these slides here, in terms of even the question that I had about Waverly, I think for the Waverly community, informing those parents of how this program is going to work with some of those selections, et cetera. And then with the elementary grades, 2nd through 5th, I think that would be fantastic.
And I think that that's excellent, feedback for when we, myself, Caitlin, Laura, and faculty come back in November, how to frame what we're presented to the community.
The only thing that I would say is I think that's great to come back in November, but I think as the rollout's happening to inform parents, because it's a partnership with everything that they're learning in school, I think to inform the parents of this is what's going to be happening, and then we're going to come back in November, I think there would be a benefit to that if possible.
Sure.
Thank you.
Jill?
And let me just say I'm very excited for this program. I think it's great for the students to have something, more organized fashion during the WIN period. But considering it's not really part of their teaching skills, I guess, during a typical day, is there some sort of evaluation that occurs to see if the program works? Or is this more just meant to be supplemental? How do we evaluate whether they're getting anything out of it?
It's a really good question, and I don't know that I have an answer for you off the top of my head. You know, there are these prompts that students can respond to, and then, you know, I think we can sort of, you know, I wouldn't want to necessarily collect those responses and grade them, but I think it's more looking at the quality of the conversation that students are having and the quality of that thinking. I'm not sure it necessarily fits perfectly in something that we can quantify. It's a little more, you know, qualitative, but it's definitely something that as we roll it out that we should look at for sure.
Yeah, and because obviously the folks that are being pushed in and running the program are not the teachers, right? So will they report back to the day-to-day teacher to say, hey, this is what we're doing, so if you want to build on it during class, like
So I would say
anything like that?
I would say definitely yes. That is part of, you know, at Waverly where it's pull out, there would be communication, you know, amongst the whole team. But at Ann Hutch, the push in is to support with eventual the teacher being able to take it over at some point
Okay,
down the
so that's the
road.
goal for-
Yes.
okay, so the
yeah, but
teacher
that's
is
not
part of that
yes, the teacher
okay.
is there, the teacher is part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Hi. So I know we have a lot of parents who are interested in more advanced learning for their kids and enrichment. So how does this program, Great Books, deal with the different learners in the classroom? Because like Matt was saying, some kids in kindergarten are still learning their alphabet, while some kids in kindergarten are already reading. So how does it handle the differentiation with learners?
Yeah, so I think that for Junior Great Books, they're known for, you know, being a program that districts might use with accelerated learners because of that level of thinking. But at the same time, because it's like this, the shared inquiry process that the teacher is facilitating and the students are participating in, it can be appropriate for any learner. So, you know, I think that's something that we really want to look at is this helping us to meet the needs of some of our accelerated learners while at the same time increasing those types of thinking skills among the more typical, you know, child at that grade level.
Okay, great, thank you.
Jackie? Oh, you don't.
Sure. Yeah, I'm also very excited about having a more systematic program during WIN. I have one question.
Sure.
So this might be for November, like when it's already rolled out. But if there are certain students that are pulled out for speech or OT, like let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they're in the classroom Tuesday, Thursday, are they going to feel like they have to catch up or?
No, and that's also like what's great about, you know, like the being able to either read or hear the story multiple times.
Yeah.
They're able to participate wherever they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually something that we had asked because we said we're going to be doing this during when kids are going to sort of be in and out. It might not be the exact same group every time, and they assured us that, you know, it's workable.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So you're going to be on the same book because to sort of echo what Lori
Yes.
said, because as you get to the 4th and 5th grade, they're getting pulled out for chorus, they're getting pulled
Yes.
out for
And once again,
other bands, orchestra.
it says book, but we're talking about something that might be, you know, 3 8.5 by 11 pages. It's not a full book where
It's
correct
right,
where I'm on
okay.
correct where, you know, you were out and we did chapter 1 and you missed it, you know, and now you're expected to, you know, just jump in. It's a short enough piece of text that you can come on in.
And it's appropriate for all levels because, you know, to, I guess, what Chrissy said, you know, if someone's in the 5th grade, they might be reading at a higher level versus someone who might be needing a little extra help. It's the same level of the
It
text?
is. It is. The reading is the same, but it is scaffolded by the teacher in terms of vocabulary. They talk about, you know, the different types of questions. Like, are there questions that we can, I forget the exact term for them, but are there questions that we can kind of get out of the way right away? Like, do we need to, you know, clarify, was that a confusing who that character was? Let's clarify that right away. Let's clarify this vocabulary word or that vocabulary word. So then we're moving into the discussion and the conversation.
And just in terms of the WIN period, is it fluid for the teacher depending on what other subjects that are kind of going on? Because, for instance, if the children are working on a very difficult math chapter and they skip the program for that day, are they obligated? Are they behind other classes?
No,
Or it's at their discretion of when to implement?
I would, from the way that I understand it, it might be that another class started the next story, but we haven't started it yet. But that doesn't mean that you're behind. It's not that it's not like, we learned addition today and then you missed it and now we're up to subtraction. It's more fluid. Okay. The teacher, and we also talked about with WIN being those two 30-minute periods, that perhaps one of those 30-minute periods you're dedicating to something else that you need to accomplish during WIN, and then the other 30-minute period is for junior grade books.
Okay. Anyone else?
All right.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Susan. One of the areas for evaluation, I would think, is using the deficit model. Currently, what is the WIN period not providing for proficient and mastery students? And based on that feedback loop, for example, parents suggesting I'm not getting enough knowledge as to what my child is doing during that particular half hour or 1 hour. Does junior grade books with a systematic curriculum begin to fill that gap in terms of having a very specific lesson plan, set of, as Susan said, anthologies, books to be read, and a feedback loop to parents where children will be bringing materials home. So the curriculum itself almost answers the question of communication with families and a systematic approach to learning. It's not a hit or a miss. It's an evolution that occurs, and obviously that would be an area to measure in some way through survey research, etc. Parents being part of the group, even to some degree students, and certainly our faculty. Do you find that this use of time is more valuable through a junior grade books program than other activities that may exist? So there are measurable impacts that we'll be looking at, and that's why Greenvale is going to put a focus on how do we strengthen the WIN period and maximize what we're doing, and be able to look at both the Ann Hutch and Greenvale, it's a former district I served in, Greenvale. How do we compare those in terms of this year? So I want to emphasize the pilot aspect, emphasize the fact that we'll be spending a lot of time in different schools looking at what's going on, and then getting back to all of us somewhere in the March timeframe, which will be timely with respect to the budget. What are we going to do with junior grade books for next school year? Okay, so let's move on to secondary level, give them a chance. Dr. Meyer has been doing a lot of work. You all saw the recent article that Michael had put together on the essay. And there are a lot of good things happening in the college process updates. So I asked Dr. Meyer if he'd come and share some information with us and have a little bit of conversation about it. We again are slating him to be presenting later on this semester and talking more in depth about the college essay, the collaboration of the guidance and the English departments, and some other recommendations he has made to strengthen college and career readiness. So, Bill, would you join us, please?
Thank you. Just building on that conversation, I would just say, great writers are great readers, and we see how that plays through the whole K-12 experience. I'm going to talk a little bit about the college process. It is fall, pumpkin spice lattes, apple picking and college applications. So hopefully that's not too traumatic. Part of that whole process, as probably many of you are aware, especially if you have a child in 12th grade, is the college essay. And the interesting thing about the college essay is it really sort of, unfortunately, inspires a lot of trepidation and uncertainty and what do I communicate in this piece? But it also is this incredible way for students to speak profoundly about who they are and what they're looking for in their college experience and what they hope to bring into that space and place. Later on in the year, we'll get a chance to talk a little bit more in depth around this collaboration that's taking place between the English department around personal narratives and the counseling department. But we thought, we wanted to make sure that our current 12th graders were also being supported. So we ran a series of workshops, and we continue to run those workshops, having served almost 36 students now in the writing process. Couple things I'll say just real briefly about those workshops. They're just a lot of fun. It's great to have students. It's exciting for me personally, get a chance to read their essays, to hear about their experiences, and everyone has a story. Like, everyone has a story, and our work is really to bring clarity and structure to those stories so that they have voice and some authenticity to the students who write them. And that's what we do. So we've been meeting with at lunches. I actually met with the student after school today. I mean, wherever we can find the space, the time, this is a great opportunity to connect with them, to help them in this process. It's so unique in that very rarely are you asked or even allowed to write from the first person. And then when you find yourself doing it, it's at the highest stakes. So it's about helping students find those stories, create those captivating openings, building the backstory, and then allowing that theme to emerge, sort of who they are as a person. And that's what the whole application is about. And the counselors do really a wonderful job of thinking about that. In the future, we'll talk a little bit more about the ways we're working with the counselors, and we're going to be running some PDs actually with the teachers around the letters of recommendations, which complement that whole portfolio. Even the courses that students are taking, we're looking at partnerships with different platforms that help students best align their application with the right fit in the right schools and right collection of schools. So all of that is coming down the road, and we're really excited about. But in the present moment, we've got our college essay workshops. A lot of this was alluded to in the student report. We've got our financial aid night coming up tomorrow night. We're bringing in an outside speaker we're very excited about to talk about that process. It's changed a lot in the last 12 months. So I'd encourage, well, if you're not able to attend, we'd love to have you attend and ask questions. We're going to be recording that. We'll be posting that. That will be available online. We've got our college fair, which is being hosted at Pelham this year on the 21st. A great way for students to see a lot of schools very quickly. Also, if they pay attention, I mean, so many schools have been cycling through Eastchester in the last couple of weeks. So just dropping into those information sessions is really valuable. Also worth noting, the SUNY Free Application Week, which is coming up at the end of the month. That's a great opportunity to apply to a bunch of schools in the state supporting in that process. And down the road, we're setting up an athletic recruitment event. We're bringing this back. I know this existed in the past. We connected actually with two gurus in the field out of Lawrenceville. This is a prep school in New Jersey who just gave an incredible presentation for athletes who find themselves in a unique situation when it comes to the college application process. So there's a lot of exciting stuff taking place. We're excited to be able to support the students. The counselors are doing an incredible job just sort of being in the trenches with them, support families through this process, and I just feel very fortunate to have the opportunity to be part of this team. So thank you. I don't know if you guys have questions.
I was just going to say, Dr. Meyer, a lot of positive momentum there, and I think it's super important. I know one of our goals last year was to really figure out how can we be better, how can we do better in terms of the college application process, how can we be better and do better in our guidance department. And what you've laid out here tonight very succinctly is all of the steps that we're taking to do that. So thank you. I'm sure there are a lot of parents that have seniors that are going to be thanking you. And quite frankly, as a trustee, I love to hear everyone taking the extra step, yourself included, meeting with a student when you find the time to help them with their essay process. So thank you. I think that was the intention of us establishing that goal and moving forward in a positive direction. So thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
This is wonderful, really. Long time coming. Very happy about this. I just wanted clarity around the workshops. Is that, and maybe this changed along the way, but is this supplemental to what's going on in the classroom in the EL? Okay, in the EL. So there is still, I guess what I understood, sessions that are taking place or a portion of ELA, English.
So yeah, so I would look at this in sort of two ways. There's this long game in which we formalize the narrative and the development of portfolios over the course of high school around student writing. But the immediate need is students in the process, sitting down, blank screen, where do I start? Or I've got a paragraph, or I'm dealing with this supplements. And there's so many great tricks and strategies to help students with this work. And just sometimes getting an extra set of eyes, someone who can sort of see through what the pieces you've established and pull out a thread is all that's needed. And so that's what the current set of workshops are about. I would say sort of that bridge to meeting that long-term need.
Now, you said about I don't know, 3 dozen students. Did you expect more, or are you happy with the 3? I mean, did you?
I think we had very few expectations. It was just we wanted to open, see what was available. And the amazing thing is every time we've run a session, we've had more students.
Okay, good.
And I think that just speaks to sort of the ripple effect, which I intuitively kind of thought would happen. I mean, I get it. You're writing something personal. And that's not always easy to share with a stranger, which I'm a stranger to many students with a really deep voice, right? So that's even doubly unnerving. But I think once friends are like, hey, I worked with my counselor, or I sat with this guy with a deep voice, and it was great. It was productive, and I feel good about where I'm at. It can start to destigmatize and demystify this. And, I would be happy, and I hope we just continue to offer these, and whether it's through emails or meeting with students, because this is really the last piece of the puzzle, but probably one of the most important pieces for a student to distinguish themselves in the application process. The test scores are done with, the grades, the classes have been taken. It's the last component, so helping them is really important.
So this was focused, I'm assuming, seniors, right?
Yes.
Do you anticipate coming in for juniors, just going to be starting this spring into the summer and kind of getting that mindset where they can maybe start to focus on?
Yes, we have a plan for the juniors, the sophomores, and the freshmen. So, but exactly, the long game, the juniors and the work will begin in the spring. But in the present moment, really the focus is all on 12th graders.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Sure.
I just wanted to say thank you. I know parents have been asking for these kinds of things for so long, so it's nice to see it happening. Just wanted to say thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess my question is, since my kids are still young, it sounds like all of this is new, right? So my question was more, was this, anything of this done before, or this is all new? You put your stamp on this is all additive now for the community and the students?
Well, a lot of these pieces actually already existed. I mean, the essay workshops are new. The recruitment piece, I think, existed at one time. It didn't exist, so we're bringing that back. The financial aid night was something that they did have. I think it's what we're really excited about as well, and shout out to our director of tech, is the rollout of the new website, which will all of a sudden allow us to create this outward facing window for parents and families to access this information in a way that is asynchronous, and they weren't able to in the past unless they were physically present. So it's a mix. And in truth, I think that a lot of the pieces have always been there. It's just aligning them and having the capacity, the time, and the resources to sort of build an arc for the students and the families in this process. And that's what, I think we're all working towards. I know Heather Riley, she's amazing, overseeing the counseling department and the counselors themselves, thinking about all of these different pieces, how we can improve them, tighten them, get to students earlier in the process, so that they can be as competitive as possible and get into the schools that are the best fit and the best schools out there. I mean, I think the ultimate goal is to make this one of the premier counseling departments in this county. There's absolutely no reason it can't be. We have the resources, we have the community support, we have your support, and you know, I think it's all there. So yeah, it's exciting to be a part of.
That's great. Yeah, and I think you can take some credit for it. So that's I think that's just great to hear. To Matt's point, this is one of our goals, and to the other board members who've said thank you, I think that's a lot has been done, you know, under your leadership then in a short time. So it's great to see.
Thanks for saying that. Thank you.
Yeah, Bill has been a great addition. I think that goes without saying. And there's more to come. Tomorrow we have an administrative meeting, and I'll be reviewing some recommendations that Bill has brought forward in other areas of college and career guidance, and we'll report back to the board and the community once we have reviewed them and see how their impact over the next several months would work out. So we're moving quickly and expeditiously in this manner. So it's time to say thank you. I hope it wasn't too long a presentation, but I thank Tom and Bill and Susan for joining in and giving us a little bit of taste of what is yet to come down the line. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Valenti, and thank you for the recognition for the board. I would like to thank my fellow trustees for your support and your patience. This is definitely a very difficult position, as both Matt and Chrissy are aware of, but thank you for all your support, and I can't be remiss if I don't thank our district clerk, Lori, for all the help that she, thank you. Absolutely.
Lori, you're like the MVP of
You
that.
can't. We certainly wouldn't be able to have these meetings without all your help and assistance. So thank you. And now we are up to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion? Sean?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda, which includes the following minutes: 8, personnel agenda; 9, committee on preschool education, special education recommendations; 10, pupil personnel recommendations; 11, educational curriculum and instruction; 12, business office recommendations.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Chris? Oh. All in favor? Great. Motion passes. Excellent. So our future meeting dates, October 22nd will be a work session, followed by November 12th, which is a regular Board of Education meeting. We are now up to the comments from the public. Just as a reminder for the public, please state your name and address. And as always, we welcome public comment and feedback, but please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We have a hard stop for a total of 30 minutes. And just please be civil and respectful. No public comment, that's fantastic. All right, and so do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Rob? Second? Sean, all in favor? All right, motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned, thank you.